Somewhere between history and nightmare, it exists. Inferno Penitentiary, where time means nothing, where every monster ever born shares the same walls. What happens inside has never been imagined. Until now, the cell block stretches beyond what architecture allows. 1,000 cells, 1,000 monsters, all of history's worst, in one impossible space. The guards are the only normal people here. They will not remain normal long. 6 wings, 1,000 inmates, 5,000 years of human history's worst documented criminals. Every wing a world unto itself. Every wing a powder keg, and between them, the common areas where everyone meets. That is where this story lives. Al Capone, Chicago, Illinois, 1920s. He ran the most powerful criminal organization in American history. He walks into Inferno like he owns it. He will attempt to own it. He will not find it easy. Jack the Ripper, London, 1888. He killed 5 women in the East End. His name was never discovered. His face was never seen. Even here, even in Inferno, he arrives as a mystery. The most famous unknown in criminal history. The other inmates fear what they cannot identify. Ted Bundy, Pacific Northwest, USA, 1970s. He killed at least 30 women, possibly many more. His weapon was his appearance. Handsome, educated, charming. But charm requires a willing victim. In Inferno, nobody is willing. Nobody is a victim. For the first time, Ted Bundy's greatest weapon is useless. Wayne Gacy, Chicago, Illinois, 1970s-80s. He performed as Pogo the Clown at children's parties. He killed 33 people. He arrives in Inferno in costume. It is not meant to be funny. In a prison full of monsters, the clown is somehow the most unsettling thing anyone has seen. Elizabeth Báthory, Kingdom of Hungary, early 1600s, believed to have killed as many as 650 young women. The most prolific female murderer in recorded history. She arrives at Inferno as if it is an inconvenience. She is 400 years older than most of the other inmates. In some ways, she is more dangerous than all of them combined. Charles Manson, California, USA, 1960s. He didn't kill anyone himself. He convinced others to kill for him. In Inferno, there is nobody to convince. Every inmate here is their own complete ideological universe. Nobody follows anyone else. Manson's superpower, the only one he had, is useless here. He is for the first time just a man. Jeffrey Dahmer, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 1978-1991. He murdered 17 people. He arrives at Inferno quietly. He is curious about everyone, for reasons that have nothing to do with conversation. The other prisoners, who have seen and done terrible things, find Dahmer uniquely disturbing, because he looks at them differently than anyone has ever looked at them. Even here, even in Inferno. Andrei Chikatilo, Soviet Union, 1978-1990. He murdered and mutilated over 50 people. He was a school teacher. He looks like one. In Inferno, surrounded by the world's most recognizable monsters, the quiet man reading in the corner is the one nobody can figure out. That is very much the point. Harold Shipman, England, 1975-1998. He killed over 200 of his own patients. They trusted him with their lives. He took their lives instead. He arrives at Inferno looking for the medical wing. There isn't one. He will have to find another way to be useful. The thought is terrifying. H. Holmes, Chicago, Illinois, 1890s. He built a hotel specifically designed to kill his guests. Gas lines, secret passages, trapdoors, soundproofed rooms. He arrives at Inferno and immediately begins studying the architecture. The building itself, designed to contain evil, has met the man who turns buildings into weapons. This will be a problem. The Zodiac Killer, Northern California, 1968-1969. At least 5 confirmed murders, possibly 37. Name, unknown. Face, unknown. Identity, unconfirmed. Even in Inferno, where every prisoner has a file, the Zodiac's file has a question mark where the name should be. The mystery persists. Even here, Dennis Rader, BTK, Wichita, Kansas, 1974-1991. Church president, scout leader, compliance officer. He killed 10 people over 17 years. He arrives at Inferno asking about the chapel. In a prison full of people who have abandoned all pretense, the man still performing normalcy is somehow the strangest thing here. Pedro Lopez, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, 1960-1980. He confessed to killing over 300 people, mostly children. In Inferno, he is accounted for. He sits quietly in the corner. He has the patience of someone who has always understood that waiting is its own weapon. Samuel Little, United States, 1970-2005. 93 confirmed murders. The most prolific serial killer in American history. Almost nobody in this room knows who he is. He finds that funny. He has always understood that anonymity is the most powerful weapon a killer can have. Even here, he is underestimated. That is a mistake. The first meal, the moment every prison psychologist dreads. Hierarchy being established, territory being claimed, alliances being formed, enemies being identified. In an ordinary prison, this takes weeks. In Inferno, with this population, it takes approximately 45 seconds. What happens next has never been theorized, because nothing like this has ever existed. Until now, Al Capone has run a criminal organization. He understands power structures better than almost anyone here. He takes the center table. He waits. The mountain has spoken. Now who comes to it? The first alliance. Nobody predicted it. Capone, the businessman of crime, and Jack the Ripper, the phantom of crime. They have nothing in common. They have everything in common. The alliance of Inferno begins. Charles Manson has convinced hundreds of people to do his bidding. He attempts this with Elizabeth Báthory. She dismisses him with 4 words. Charles Manson, who has never met someone he couldn't eventually charm, sits down quietly. Something remarkable has occurred. Jeffrey Dahmer and Dennis Rader find each other within minutes. They are the 2 most normal-looking people in Inferno Penitentiary. 2 ordinary men who did extraordinary evil, finding comfort in mutual recognition. It is very disturbing. While everyone else establishes territory, while the first alliances form and the first confrontations threaten, Chikatilo reads. He has not looked up once. The still ones are always the most dangerous. Always. Holmes is not establishing a social hierarchy. He is doing something more dangerous. He has found a hidden space. Inferno may be the greatest challenge he has ever encountered. He has never met a building he couldn't eventually control. Ted Bundy is accustomed to being the most accomplished person in the room. Samuel Little says 1 word to him, 93. Bundy has no response. Little smiles. The quiet ones, the invisible ones, do the most damage. John Wayne Gacy encounters the Ripper in the corridor. For the first time, Gacy steps back, not from fear, from recognition. He has met the only entity here that operates on entirely different logic. Harold Shipman and Pedro Lopez find each other. Between them, 500 lives. They do not become friends, but they understand each other. The scale of what they did, even here, is remarkable. The hierarchy of Inferno is not what criminologists would have predicted. It is based on resources, information, unpredictability, and fear of the unknown. The first night, the lights go down, the cells lock, and in the darkness of Inferno, they begin to talk. The questions they ask each other through the walls reveal more than any interrogation ever has. Through the walls of Inferno, Capone wants to understand the power structure. Bundy wants to impress. Manson wants to philosophize. Dahmer asks something that stops everyone cold. And BTK asks the question nobody will answer. Do you think God forgives us? The silence that follows is the longest in Inferno's history. What you do when you're truly alone reveals more than any crime scene. Some pray, some plan, some read. One measures, one writes in symbols. The night of Inferno is more disturbing than the day. At 2 a.m., Holmes has found 3 structural weaknesses. He is planning something only a Victorian architect turned serial killer could conceive. The Zodiac writes a new cipher in the darkness. Self-illuminating symbols on the wall. Nobody can read them. The mystery persists. Dennis Rader prays in the darkness of Inferno, whether genuine or performance. It is the darkest mystery in Inferno Penitentiary. Dawn at Inferno. The first full day, 12 hours of darkness have established more than 12 months in an ordinary prison. The hierarchy is real. The alliances are functional. The plans are in motion. Nothing in this place has ever been ordinary. The warden reviews the overnight report. She has never written a morning report like this. She calls for more guards. There are no more guards. The experiment continues. Day 2. Capone and Báthory meet in the common room. Two people who have never met their equal. Something has been arranged. The guards are more frightened after the meeting than before it. Ted Bundy and Charles Manson meet in the library. The conversation that follows is the most intellectually sophisticated exchange in Inferno, and simultaneously the most revealing. Jeffrey Dahmer and H.H. Holmes talk for 40 minutes about home improvement. The FBI behavioral specialist who reviews the footage submits a 47-page report. On the second day, at 2:17 p.m., Andrei Chikatilo stands up. He looks at every prisoner one by one. He says nothing. The patient man has made his statement. Samuel Little watches everything. He has always been the most dangerous person in any room. The room is just now figuring that out. Someone stole Gacy's makeup. Without the costume, he is just a man. The common room is very quiet for a long time. Elizabeth Báthory proposes a formal hierarchy. She makes offers that are genuinely appealing. The question is there anyone here who has not built their entire career on the premise that trust is for victims? The responses to her proposal tell everyone everything they need to know. Samuel Little watches all of it and does not respond. The power play nobody expected. Al Capone builds an information network. Within 48 hours, he knows everything happening in Inferno. On day 3, a guard discovers a hidden space behind a wall. Henry Howard Holmes created it in 72 hours using a plastic spork and his fingernails. On day 4, all 15 prisoners are in the common area simultaneously. Samuel Little stands up and speaks. What he says changes everything. Samuel Little reveals accurate details about every prisoner from 4 days of silent observation. The hierarchy of Inferno has just been rearranged. The order of Inferno settles into a complex web. The two loneliest people turn out to be Ted Bundy and Charles Manson, the most famous and charismatic. For the first time, they are ordinary. Week 2 of Inferno. A routine has formed. Capone's table, Chikatilo's library, Holmes's walls, BTK's chapel. So far, nobody has died. That will change. Week 3. A new arrival is announced. The name stops everyone. Who does the worst people in history fear? Luis Garavito walks in. 193 confirmed murders of children. Even among monsters, a monster exists that other monsters recoil from. The experiment has found its answer. After 3 weeks, the experiment has found its answer. What happens when all notorious murderers are in one place? The same thing that happens in every closed system. Evil is not special, it is human, which is the most disturbing finding of all. The real prisons held some of them, but never all of them, never together. The most disturbing finding of the real cases is how ordinary the places were. The ordinariness was the point. The ordinary world, the real Inferno. These streets are real. The fog is real. The 5 women who died here were real. 25, Cromwell Street. The house is gone. A garden grows. 12 lives remembered here. Justice, eventual. Mémoire permanente. A parking lot where 7 men died on Valentine's Day. History compressed into a sign most people never stop to read. This is the real Alcatraz cell. 5 by 9 feet. The man who ran Chicago in a 5 by 9 cell. The documented ones. The ones whose names are in the files. 1. The Zodiacs, with a question mark where the name should be. The science that catches them gets better every year. The answers are coming. The victims, not the perpetrators. Their candles, their names, their light against the dark. The names, not the criminals' names, the victims' names. They deserve to be spoken with more frequency and more respect. The FBI Behavioral Science Unit. The work continues. Prisons across time. The questions remain. This is the real Chicago. The real Inferno was a real city. Real prisons hold real people. That is justice, imperfect, delayed, real. The open cases. The Zodiac, still open. Their commitments to keep asking until the answer comes. The newspapers recorded them. The media's relationship with notorious crime is its own experiment. The garden, where the worst happened. Now flowers. Horror becomes garden. The gift shop. The tours. The documentaries. Why do we watch? The study of these cases exists for understanding. It is prevention. This is why the study matters. These children playing safely. The study of the worst is in service of the best. Science advancing faster than evil can hide. The answers are in the evidence. The memorial sites. This impulse is the most important thing in this documentary. Not the killers. The memorials. The advocates. The reformers. The work of prevention is the actual legacy. The books. The best of it centers victims, advances understanding, informs prevention. The garden autumn. The names remain. Memory is not seasonal. The questions that remain. Why? The question itself remains. Support exists. If that is you, help is available. The absences. The empty chair at the table. That is the real cost. The cities continue. They contain the history, and they continue. The world continues. The light returns every morning regardless of what happened in the dark. That is why we study, not to celebrate the darkness, but to protect the dawn. We return to Inferno, but it is not the same Inferno we left. The thought experiment is the experiment the real world runs every day. Month 2 of Inferno. Several prisoners have requested access to victim files. Dennis Rader has asked to see the files of the people he killed. Dennis Rader reads the files of his 10 victims for 4 hours. Then he sits in the chapel in silence for 5 hours. Whether this means anything is the question that has no answer. Month 2. Andrei Chikatilo is rereading a book of Russian poetry. Al Capone at 3 a.m. Alone. No fedora. No cigar. Contemplative. Unusual. The Ripper's cell camera shows something different tonight. A shape sitting in the fog. Unusual fog behavior. Month 3. The experiment yields 5 findings. Power forms from competence. The invisible outmaneuver the famous. Even monsters have a hierarchy of horror. Patience is the supreme currency. And the question remains, why? Inferno fades. What remains is reality. The actual places. The actual victims. What the study of evil teaches. Systems fail. Early intervention works. Documentation enables prevention. Victims deserve to be centered. Science advances. Justice eventually arrives. The victims, not at the end, as the point. Each one more important than any criminal analysis. The light has always been theirs. Inferno closes. The real work continues outside any imagined prison. In the laboratories, in the classrooms, in the prevention programs. The work never stops. This documentary is a thought experiment, an educational analysis. It is not a celebration of the people it depicts. It is a question, what does the pattern tell us? The 5 women of Whitechapel, Marion Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, Mary Jane Kelly, the 12 of Cromwell Street, the 10 of Wichita, the 5 of Northern California. Their names, their light, the point of everything. For the first and only time, all 15 art styles exist in harmony because they are in service of the victims. All the cities of this story at dawn, simultaneously, all continuing. The dawn always comes. Inferno Penitentiary. One last look in the dawn light. What happens when all notorious murderers are in one place? The same thing that happens in every closed human system. And the persistent, unanswerable question, why? Al Capone, still at his table. The empire reduced to a chair. Jack the Ripper, still unidentified. Ted Bundy, still looking for exits. Elizabeth Báthory, still writing. Chikatilo, finally looking up. Holmes, still seeing what others miss. Dahmer, finally sleeping. Gacy, finally just a man. Little, still the last to stop watching. The Zodiac, still asking to be solved. One candle, for all of them, for the victims, for the families, for everyone who looked at the darkness not to celebrate it, but to protect the light. One candle, it is enough. It will always be enough. What if all notorious murderers were in one place? The experiment reveals. Evil follows human patterns. The invisible outlasts the famous. Patience outlasts violence. Even monsters fear something. But the real finding is simpler. The victims matter more than the experiment. Their names outlast every finding. Their light outlasts every darkness. Remember them.